is that outstanding session that you have, right? Functional maths, it's an outstanding functional maths session about adding fractions. It's mega. It works always, but not last thing on a Friday. With that particular group, when it's snowing outside and heat's not working right and everyone's a bit hungry. Okay? So it's that notion that outstandingness is not a catch-all. It's in the moment. There's also a notion that an outstanding session can be outstanding for this learner, but not for this learner. They're both sat next to each other, they're in the same place at the same time. So as a practitioner, we've got to sometimes somehow get a head around that craziness. I'm going to quickly flick through these. So I've shown some of the data that we've got from the interviews that we've been taking place. I think, what is outstanding learning and teaching? Where do we get started? Question. This notion of creativity is coming out as well, quite strongly. Okay, that outstanding learning and teaching is about creativity. There's a creative process. There's a creative process for the learner, but there's also a creative process for the practitioner. There's a sort of joint thing there. A noisy session sometimes can be a horrible one, but sometimes it can be absolutely fantastic. We all know that. I think that was quite important. So that's a project member. It's actually a project lead. So I don't think I can answer your questions. What is outstanding? That comes back to the points at the start. On using grades to demonstrate outstandingness, I think that is a shame. I do understand them, and we do use them, and I do approve of using them, by the way. But I think it's a shame sometimes putting too much emphasis on success rate. So if we don't use grades, what are we to use? And here we have this stuff about entrenched views. And that has come out. That has definitely come out. There's some practitioners, some of your colleagues have not got involved in the project. They've been part of it, they've had the opportunity to be part of it, and they've chosen not to. Okay? So that means something. That means something about them. Perhaps they're feeling vulnerable, who knows, I don't know. But they're not actively engaged in the particular project. And that's interesting as well, about this notion of interest. Okay, so the positives that we've taken at this point, a significant amount of projects say we want to carry this on after the final. And that's an amazing thing. This notion, and I'll put this, competitors, this notion of communities of practice is incredible. The fact that there are so many people working with each other across these projects is an extraordinary thing. It's not that you're competitors, it's that whole thing about sharing good practice that we spoke about right at the start. There are challenges. It's an incredibly mad time frame. And if you've operationalised this and you've got this going, you've got a report at the end of it, hats off to you. Because that's an incredibly tough gig. But at the same time, it's an amazing opportunity. Amazing opportunity. Resistance, fear, disruption of normal routines, communication between partners can be difficult. So some of the questions that were raised, of course there's more questions than there are answers. What on earth does engagement mean? I bet there's loads of post-its up there that says engagement on it. I bet there's loads. What does that mean? How do you measure engagement? Yeah. And do you measure engagement with functional skills guys in the same way as you measure engagement with a completely different group? With a group of guys? How do you do it? What does enjoyable mean in relation to outstandingness? I bet there's loads of things that say enjoyable up there as well. Well, what does that mean? Does it have to be enjoyable to be outstanding? Viewing the positives as a means of assessing. So when we're going around and supporting colleagues through observations, using a model where you focus on the positives. And when I was a head of department, I would say to every single new member of staff that when they're crying, I bet there's been a positive in that lesson. And they said, no, there hasn't. I said, did Dwayne fight Kyle? No. Well, there you go. Brilliant. How do you engage to disengage? And also, what have you guys got out there? I'm going to put you back to why bother. Yes, there's Sponduli's involved in this, but there's also Lawrence Stenhouse's idea, which is absolutely key. It's not that you lot should be studied, it's that you lot should study what's going on yourself. Absolutely key. And those of you who went to the CP day, I showed you that thing. Perhaps that's how you're feeling right now, and it makes a little bit more sense. We're going to be around, we're going to have a chat. Thank you so much for listening, and enjoy your lunch and enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.